Well, I have a question that I want to start off with. And do you know who Helen Keller was? Yeah. That name sounds familiar to most of you. Anybody that does not recognize that name at all? Helen Keller was born deaf and blind and was a very agitated child. And as she grew and become more what they would have called civilized, then she started writing very deep thought articles. And one of these articles really shows how inspiring and brave of a role model she became to society. She once wrote an article in a magazine, and it was called 3 Days to See. And in that article, she outlined what things she would like to see if she were granted just 3 days of sight. It was a powerful and thought-provoking article. We have a short video here. It's an animated video, but it sums up what she said in the article.
3 Days to See. Helen Keller was blind and deaf from infancy. However, she observed beautiful things merely by touch. Helen imagines what she would do if she gets her sight back, only for 3 days. On the first day, she wants to see her friends and family, whose kindness and companionship made her life worth living. She wants to see the books that were read to her, and those which revealed the deepest meaning of human life to her. In the afternoon, she wants to take a walk in the woods to see the beauty that she felt through her touch. She wants to see the glory of a colorful sunset. She does not want to sleep that night. On the second day, she wants to visit the museum to see the pageant of man's progress. She wants to see the art and to watch movies in the evening. On the third day, she wants to visit the places where men go for work and business. However, at midnight, with her blindness back, she would realize how much has been left unseen.
And I want you to hear how she ended her article. And her article in that magazine said, "I who am blind can give you one hint to those of you who see. Use your eyes as if tomorrow you were stricken with blindness." How much we take for granted, isn't it? I'm just really excited to share that my son and daughter are here. My son, who lives in Montana now, many of you know that he and I went on a road trip from Denver back home, and we arrived back home a week ago Saturday night. And one of his missions, and I hope I have this right, you have now visited 28 national parks. Is that right? And we took in 2 of those on our road trip because that's the way he rolls. He's got a water mug and puts a sticker every time he gets another national park. And there's 60, I think, plus national parks. So he's almost halfway there. But when you see these national parks and the beauty that we have and how much we take for granted, just looking out these windows at these 5 acres that we sit on. So I took that, I was reading this article about Helen Keller, and I decided they had chosen this song, "Lord, I Want to See You," right? I really want to see you, Lord. And I found the quote out of the Bible, which comes from Luke 18. And this is where Jesus is on a path, and there's a blind man at the edge of the road because he heard that Jesus was on his way through. And he's yelling for Lord, Lord. And Jesus says, bring this man to me. And he says to him, what do you want me to do for you? And he says, Lord, I want to see. And Jesus said to him, receive your sight. Your faith has healed you. Now, how do we take that metaphysically? Because we look at this passage, just this short verse, and we say, what does this have to do with me? How blind are we at times in our life? How blind are we? Very quickly, we lose our sight. We lost our sight the other night when someone came barreling down the 75 or whatever highway we were on and cut across 3 lanes and almost took us out. Literally, I can tell you I was in the passenger seat in this car, couldn't have been 6 inches from our car. And Michael reacted very fast. But how quickly we can get blind and want to just start cussing that person out. Any of you relate to that? I mean, this happens, and it's happening more and more lately. There's just an awful lot of road rage going on right now. And so you really got to drive defensively. But it's in that moment that we lose our sight, and we lose our sight all the time in the course of a day because stuff is coming at us in this human field. So I just thought it was really amazing. Lord, I want to see you, Lord. It takes so long, my Lord, right? For me, it took stepping into this Unity Church to realize that the word Lord is not out there. The word Lord is where? In here. Lord, that's the Christ within. I want to see. I want to see you, Lord. Think about, have you been blind to the truth of who you are? At times, we are, aren't we? Have you been blind to the spiritual truth that you are enough? Or have you always felt like that? Come on, tell the truth. There's times, there's moments when we get blind to it, right? Have you been blind to the spiritual truth that you are loved by that perfect love from the child within? That's deep. Have you been blind to not recognizing that you are loved by the child within? That little boy and that little girl are still inside you. But how much time we spend out there looking for love in all the wrong places, looking for love out ignoring this. Now see, how much, let's see what this button's going to say today. Let's see, is number 4 on?
Each day is a new beginning. Every day I learn and grow.
I love this thing.
I am healthy, whole, strong, and creative.
Oh, that's the daily word today, wasn't it? Yes. I mean, these are the things that we forget. And it's easy to forget. You know, George Harrison, when he wrote this, I really want to see you, Lord, he was desiring for a direct connection with God. And you've got in this song, right? My Lord, Hare Krishna, right? And many people back when that was written thought, oh, he is communist, whatever they felt about the Beatles, right? Especially George Harrison, right? But he was looking for this relationship. And you know what? Hare Krishna, it means it's the energy of the Lord. Please engage me in your service. That doesn't sound like separation from God to me. It sounds like connection with God. He was following a different path, and this came from Hindu. And so it was misunderstood. But when you dig a little deeper into things, it's amazing what you find. It's amazing what you find. I just found that one this morning because I'm thinking, what does Hare Krishna mean, right? And there you find a deep spiritual truth of a man who was wanting a connection with God. And in unity, you've already got the connection. Because God's not out there. God is in here and in every single one of you, and every single leaf, every single beauty in nature. I call it God. My daughter calls it good. Some people call it the universe. It doesn't matter. Call it Lord, right? It doesn't matter. Daniel Nahmod's got a great song about all the names that we can have for God, universe, creative life, force. So let's get to the next song that was sung. I'm trying to cover these 3 songs to wrap this into a complete message. And what was the next song? Do you remember? In my life, there are moments, there are places, people and places that went before. Lovers and friends I still can recall. Some are dead, some are living. But in my life, I love them all. There is so much room in our hearts to love it all, love them all. In my life, I loved them all. Let me just gather here a minute. In my life, I've loved them all. There are people and places that went before. Have you really loved them all? Yes. Tell the truth. I love that. That comes from Will Smith out of the movie Concussion. Just tell the truth, right? I love, and I believe you have, absolutely. But there are times when we don't. There are moments when we don't. And when you get real with yourself and embrace your humanity. You are a spiritual being. You are fully a spiritual being having a human experience. And that human experience is here on Earth School, and Earth School has got a lot of drama. What was it last week we talked about with the Dolly the Llama children's book, and that there's pea-brain out there always spewing out negativity. Opposite of the I am button. It's saying you're not enough. You're not smart enough. Oh, you made another mistake. See, I told you, right? You aren't enough. It doesn't matter what people say when you really own your spiritual truth, when you own who you really are. And that is nothing but love. Nothing but love. No matter what anybody says. I believe that 90%, probably even higher than that the problems in our world and the reason we're being shown so much fear right now is because people don't have enough love for themselves. They're searching out there for something to make them feel whole. I firmly believe that. How come I believe that? Because I didn't believe that years ago. I was searching out there. I was searching for love out there. I was searching for approval. I was searching for acceptance. I was searching, and I still struggle with this one. I was searching to feel like I was enough. I'm good enough. I'm the scarecrow in the Wizard of Oz. Didn't think he had a brain. That's me. Yeah. So it's something that I know I need to work on. And I'm telling you, if I were not your minister here, I would be sitting in those pews and saying to you, I've been coming to this church for 40 years because I wouldn't leave it, because this has made such a difference in my life. to keep coming back and hearing these kind of messages. Because no matter who your minister is here, they're going to be giving you messages, maybe not as passionate as Kathy does. And you saw that for 4 weeks. You had excellent messages of ministers and people reminding you, you are enough. And every one of us has a story. We all have a story. And we all have a story of where we weren't enough. And how we found the spiritual truth. That it doesn't matter what we've done. It doesn't matter how many mistakes. I love that. Separate that out. Mistakes means you get to do it again. You can keep improving. Angie, you were so spot on that talk. It was just amazing. Sandy, Tom, your messages, your passion, why you've been here so long, and why we'll never leave Unity. I can guarantee you, we won't, because it made such a difference. I'm going off on a tangent again. My goodness, I can't help it. These songs from the Beatles, it is amazing. You think that these are about love songs to someone out there. But I'm looking at them at these are love songs about you. I looked in this building this morning because I wanted to find a big stand-up mirror, one that I could lift, and I wanted to say, here's who loves you, and I wanted to just take this mirror and I wanted to shine it right in so you could look at it. This is who loves you. You. And it's hard sometimes to believe that. But I'm telling you, this mirror is who loves you. And when you can look at the people who love you on your life out there, guess what? They're a mirror for you. Because they're showing you how much you love you. You wonder sometimes why you're not feeling so loved, right? I'm with you on this. Go check with Michael. He'll tell you. There are times when I don't feel loved. I don't feel loved by you. It's true. I'm having that feeling. But it's my job to go to the spiritual powers, those 12 powers, and to the 5 principles that we hold, and realize and look at myself in the bathroom mirror and say, you're not loving you enough. That's because that's the truth of it. And it's the law of attraction. When I love me more, guess what I draw to me? Isn't that the truth, Tom? I'm telling you, I'm looking at Rev Tom and Rev Sandy, and it's like, we know this. But how's it go? If we know it and we don't do it, then we don't know it. It's practice. Practice. Sandy talks about that a lot. It's practicing what you know. Doesn't mean you're always going to get it right, does it? No, because we're human. We're having this human experience. Okay, let's go to the next song. Oh, you don't know what the next song is, do you? It's I get by with a little help from my friends. Oh, I'm gonna try with a little help from my friends. Do you need anybody? I just need someone to love. We've got the answer. I just gave it to you. But see, we keep thinking, I just need somebody to love. Here's that stage that we're all on. We're all on this dramatic stage. Will you love me? I'll love you. I just need somebody to love. Oh, I get high with a little help from my friends. Ain't that the truth? And I found out this about this song. I love it. George Harrison, I believe. Let me make sure I've got that right. No, it was John Lennon and Paul McCartney wrote this one. And when they wrote it, they meant, like Kathy would say, and you would say, how many of you feel a little bit higher when you leave today? What, are you all smoking dope out there during the service? No. No. Why? Because you get by with little help from your friends, right? Do you need anybody? I just need someone to love. Point to yourself. But anyway, guess how that song got taken to be that I get high with little help from my friends. I did not know this, but it was Vice President Spiro Agnew spewed it out to the media and said, this is communism. This is nothing but promoting illegal drug use. And it was, I think, let me make sure, but it was John Lennon said, I had no idea that was what the intention was when I wrote this until Spiro Agnew said it, and he's like, I guess you could read it that way, right? Oh my gosh. Do you need anybody? I just need someone to love. How many more times should I say this? Who do you need to love you? You. How many times can I tell you in my life? You can ask my kids this. How many times mom was looking out there for somebody else to love? Lost my focus on me. Lost my focus on being a really good mom because I was so busy trying to find somebody else that I could love and they would love me. And it wasn't until I quit looking that boop, Michael shows up. How does that happen? Because I didn't care anymore because I was so in love with me. And I don't mean that egotistically. Not at all. I was so in love with the spiritual being of me. I did so many workshops, and John Bradshaw, if anybody remembers, he's 12-step, wonderful stuff, but he was all about finding the inner child. And I took his workshops, and I listened to his tapes over and over and over again to realize that little Kathy needed love. Your little girl and your little boy need love. And how I'll start to tear up, and I don't mean to do that here, but it's a good tearing up, is that spending time with my kids, my grandkids, spending that road trip with my son. Two little kids were in his Jeep. And it's the best when you can bring your little kids. You know, it's the best, isn't it? When you allow yourself to play. Sarah sharing with me last night, she had friends over, her and her husband, her two little kids, and they have a campfire in their backyard. And you should have seen her face just talking about it. That little girl is in tune around that campfire with her husband, with her children. How little of time are you spending cultivating your little boy or girl? I see my son works hard and he plays hard. I so support that. I so support that. I see many of you on Facebook. And you know, Christy always says, oh, it's the Facebook life, right? We don't put our crap out there, but we put all our good stuff, right? But then there are some that do put nothing but negativity out there. I don't friend them anymore. That's how you clear up your Facebook feed. I get by with a little help from my friends. Now, let's go to some how to practice this. Did you get these? Did you get an insert in your bulletin? I don't have this on the screen. Did you get one? Anybody not get this? please, do we have some more in the lobby? Michael, do you mind going to see if there's some more sitting there? Ushers, do you remember where they're extra? Okay, he's getting some. This is important to take with you. And I want you to pay attention to this. So please raise your hand high if you did not get one. Keep it up so they can see you. I don't want to see you forget. Bob, there's a few over there on the other side. There we go. We've got one more. Do we still need one more? Anybody? There we go. You got it? Got it covered? Okay. I want you to look at this because this is a diagram on how to help love yourself. Look at everything in that outside of the circle. You see it? Okay. How many of you can look at that and be honest with yourself and see if that's where you've been hanging out trying to control any of this? Controlling other people's emotions. Trying to change people. You know, that's the Martha Creek thing. I want everybody to be a dog, but not everybody's a dog because dogs are unconditional love. Some people are armadillos. I spent a lot of time trying to make them a dog. It doesn't work. They got to want to be a dog, right? Oh, Tom alluded to this. How much time spending in the past? How much time spending in the future? Look at this. Oh, the weather. I love that. Trying to control the weather. Get mad because it's raining, right? Get mad because it's too dry. We need rain. Other people's choices. That's a big one. Outcomes. Come on, you empathics and you caregivers, how other people feel. We worry about how everybody else is feeling, and we sacrifice ourselves. Now look in the inside circle. This is how you stay in the present, as Tom alluded in that meditation. This is what you want to focus on, because when you focus on the things in this inside of this circle, you will have peace. And you will find yourself loving yourself more and more. And when you love yourself, fully love yourself exactly how you are, I like to say, faults and all, warts and all, love yourself exactly how you are because your little girl and your little boy inside you need it. They're dying inside when you don't love them. And then they come out like little spoiled brats. Don't we? Or am I the only one that does that with Michael? I come out as a little spoiled brat. You know, there's, what was it? I think, Sandy, you shared this when you gave your talk. That was September 20th. If you didn't hear her talk, I would go back and look at our Facebook or our YouTube channel and revisit her talk because it was excellent. And she talked about this, the divinity hidden. And I believe it comes from a Hindu legend where that, the gods are talking and the main god is saying, people are just abusing their divinity. They don't realize their divinity. You know what? We're just going to take it and we're going to hide it where they're never going to find it again. This main God says we're taking it away because they don't appreciate it and we're going to hide it. Well, where do we hide it? Where do we hide it? I'm paraphrasing Sandy's story, but they decide, well, we'll hide it in the mountains. No, they'll find it there. We'll hide it in the bottom of the oceans. No, they'll probably eventually find it there. They've come up with a couple of more solutions, and the head God says, no, they'll find it there too. They finally get together, they say they got it. They know where they're going to hide the divinity of man, where they will never find it. Where? inside their heart, they'll never find it there. They'll never find it there. I want you to look at this affirmation that we've got. I wrote this one. It might not be what do I want to say? Word it correctly, I don't care, doesn't matter. I felt this. I am neither farsighted nor nearsighted. This is Tom, you brought it in your meditation. None of us knew any of this. I am focused on being present-sighted. That's the part I'm not sure if that's a word or not, but I don't care. It makes sense to me. So let's say this together. I am neither farsighted nor nearsighted. I am focused on being present-sighted. Say this again, because this, when you love yourself enough, it's easier to stay in the present moment. It's when you move into fear that you start going far out or you go to the past. So let's say it again. I am neither farsighted nor nearsighted. I am focused on being present-sighted. And this is amazing. Look at this next slide, Tom. Life is much better when you are living in the present moment. How does the song go? Amazing grace, how sweet the sound that saved a soul like me. I once was lost, but now I'm found. Was blind, but now I see. Namaste. Christ present, the present-sighted person in me, truly sees and honors that present-sighted person in each and every single one of you. Namaste, and keep loving that little boy and that little girl inside of each of you. Namaste. Thank you.